French colleagues and listeners, here we are still in Miami, and got a very interesting guest to come on now, and somebody that I've been recommended to speak to. The person I'm talking about is Roger. I even got to admit, it's Roger Larreur, and I'm sorry about that, getting mixed up. We had a little exercise there to see how I would pronounce your surname, and I screwed up as planned. So there you go.
No worries.
Roger, lovely to see you.
Mike,
I'll just say your position, Chief Commercial Officer with AGI. Thank you so much for joining us. And what I'd like to do is just kick it off by saying, just tell us a little bit about your story and how you've come to be in the position you're in, and then we'll get into the AGI forecast and opportunities.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for listening to the story. But my background really is out of college, wanted to be in the aviation. My father was in aviation, former Iberia and TAP Portugal sales executive in the States. So this is kind of how it got into my blood. And the opportunity I had right after college was to go work for an airline. Deregulation had just come out, and so there was a great opportunity. And first 18 years, worked for some of the best airlines in the U.S. that I think were the best. And I finished up with Pan Am and American Transair. And then in 2002, I got a call from Swissport, which at the time, one of my ground handlers when I was with the airlines, that's who was handling us, and called. And 2002 started with Swissport in operations, moved into commercial in 2006. Spent 20 great years at Swissport, great company, a lot of exposure, learned a lot. Great company to really learn the business from. And then in 22 joined AGI. Nice one. As they start to expand.
And they've done. It's a really good story what they've done and how they've done it. And Warren gave me a good insight into that before. Absolutely. What I'd like to ask you now is, what is it that drives you now in your role, and what do you see as the exciting opportunities that are coming within AGI over the next couple of years?
Yeah, listen, one of the things about AGI is it's a very entrepreneurial-driven company. Right? There's a lot of opportunity, as you know. Anybody in this business knows that there's a lot of opportunity. It just depends on where you want to look for it. So for AGI, if you look at their history, mainly cargo-centric. In 22, when they made the purchases of MIC, which is more cargo, and then TAS and ATS, which was really more on the passenger side. So now you've got a nice base of lines of business, and now it's just a matter of taking advantage of relationships that you've had from the cargo sector and cross-sell and take advantage of those into the ground handling, and vice versa.
And if I could ask you, sorry, what challenges are you seeing here in the US market? Because everybody, all the conferences are always talking about it's sustainability, it's people, it's all the usual things, but they're not something brand new. So it's how you deal with those issues that's marking the difference with a lot of companies now, and the people issue is so important. Yeah,
listen, I think some of the challenge. If you look at challenges in the North American market, which is what I can speak to. On the cargo side, there's a lot of markets that you just wish there was more cargo development. Where, listen, the legacy carriers, whether they're U.S. or international, they're bringing in more flights. More flights means more cargo, more belly cargo. Obviously, e-commerce is driving a lot of the business that we're getting into now. So it would be great if you had more cargo development or cargo warehouses that were available. So you really don't have that. So you got to take advantage of when the opportunities do come up through M&A, through getting into the ground floor, which you can do with some of the cargo developers. But you're always, I think, the people piece of it, I think, is getting better. Sustainability, I think, again, a lot of that is going to depend on infrastructure at the airports.
Exactly.
If they can support that. I think the OEMs are doing a great job of getting ready for that and producing those units. But it's just a matter of whether the infrastructure is there at the respective airport that can handle that. And I think the ground handlers are willing to make an investment, as the airlines make an investment in that.
Exactly. And I was so surprised to hear how the tonnages that go through Miami and what they're expecting. And when you look at that across all of the states, and I used to live here back in 94 to 98. And I loved it. I loved living in the States. The one thing that always surprised me, though, was I came with the expectation that everything was going to be bang, it was going to be bang up there. And I was so surprised at some of the handling practices. And I think something, the infrastructure now, the buildings, but also the use of equipment, I think that's changing now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, but listen, at the end of the day, it's how you it's how you approach the business. The equipment is gonna continue to be there, and it's just a matter of how you manage that.
Yeah.
Going back to your point about Miami, there's a reason why Miami is the gateway. It's going to continue to grow. The industry is going to continue to grow. Commerce is going to continue to grow, and the opportunities are going to continue to grow. And Miami, I think, is well positioned for that. And then the airport is making a major investment. It will be making a major investment to upgrade its facilities to do that. Whether it's on the cargo side or on the passenger side, the airport has made a commitment that's public information, and I think they will, and I think they'll do a great job at it.
Yeah.
To be ready for that.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And now, obviously, looking further afield in the States, you guys are looking at opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me why and what are you actually looking for in that chosen or selected partner?
Yeah. Listen, I think if you go back and you look at the AGI's history, humble beginnings, small company, and again, AGI's mentality is long term. We look for long-term customers. We look for long-term business partner relationships.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of those. And the airlines know who they are, and we appreciate that, and that's what we like. We don't want to be a vendor. We want to be a business partner. And I think whether it's by our automation, by our investment, I think we can make, and we want to make those investments long term. So now as we look at North America, and again, taking those same relationships and saying, now this is an extension, the Europe market's always been an interesting market for AGI.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I believe, we did a press release to say that we're looking at opportunities in Europe. We have an advisor in Europe who is very well known in Europe, and Olivier, and he knows the market. And so we take some information and take some advice from him, and there's a lot of great opportunities in Europe. You just have to find the right one.
Oh yes.
And there's a lot of great companies that you have to that you can look at. It's very fragmented, but there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's very good. And also, we were talking earlier about having a storyline and a reason, so that when people are aware of that somebody else is going to be coming, they want to know why and what benefits, what changes, and there has to be changes, but not like you said earlier about not taking away the foundation and the respect of the people that have built that business.
Absolutely.
To the point where you had an interest in it.
Absolutely, I know, absolutely. I mean, the great companies in Europe, they know who they are, we know who they are, and the idea is to continue to have the AGI brand grow internationally with our customer base, which a lot of the customers that we handle and that we service in North America will do the same in Europe.
Yeah.
But it's also to take that tribal knowledge that they have there in that respective market, whether it's a family-run business or a smaller business that they've grown, and take advantage of that and either provide resources, provide capital, provide automation, any of those things that that a company would need that they may not be in a position, and also to continue to give our customers another option in Europe, and then possibly look at how we can bundle the services and all the things that come with those types of things.
Yeah, no, exactly. And just as a last question now, what do you personally see as the opportunities and the challenges that you need to have at the forefront of your mind as you're going through this expansion and as you're going through the consolidation of what you're doing in the States as well? Because the one thing that, in my opinion, just my opinion, I think people have to see consistency, not perfection.
Exactly.
And people don't want to see, rainbows being offered instead of reality.
Exactly.
And then from an operational perspective, I always say, sometimes operations like to put the anchor instead of open the sails. And then commercial, sell the rainbows, not reality. So all of that has to come together at the right time.
Yeah, and actually, and you're right, and there's got to be a balance, right? Yeah. Listen, for us, the opportunities, and you said it, you have to be consistent, right? That's what the airlines and the freight forwarders and any customer that you have, they want to see consistency. And I think for us, it's just a matter of continue to be the company that provides a solution and not becomes the problem.
Yeah.
It's a company that will make the investment and shows that we'll make the investment, and continues to come up with ideas to better go to our customer and say, have you thought about this? Maybe we should do this, and maybe we can do that for you. Or they come to us and say, are you open to this? So it's got to be a mindset to where continuous improvement goes along the way, and there has to be a balance between that operational in the commercial. And at AGI, that's what we do have. It's a very close-knit group of managers and leaders, and that's exactly how we run the business.
No, brilliant. And I think just to end, whoever it is who's lucky enough to become part of your stable, even if it's only for the fashion improvements that are going to be there.
Yes, we like fashion.
Yeah,
you
got that. It's one of the nicest shirts I've seen for a long time.
I
So
appreciate
fair
it.
play.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolute pleasure talking to you. Wish you great success, and I'm sure it'll come.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.